Hello and welcome to Fake News, the topical quiz show that loves a bit of Russian interference. We're live on Talk Radio, but you can also watch us on Facebook and YouTube right now. Here are a couple of headlines that you need to know. First of all, it's official. Christmas is coming as John Lewis released their annual Yuletide ad. It's a real tearjerker as John Lewis customers watch all the money they've spent in store over the last 12 months being wasted on a tediously sentimental animation. And Donald Trump is looking more likely than ever to be impeached. And he's the only politician in history whose family are terrified he'll spend more time with them. Let's meet today's guests. First up, joining Andre Walker on Team Free Broadband for All, we have broadcaster Mike Smith, who is a legend. And joining Dave Chawner on Team Old Fashioned Dial-Up is the truly hilarious comedian Ross Lee. Let's kick off with round one. Now this round is called Fake News. Same name as the show itself. I'll read some stories from the papers and our wonderful panel must choose if they're true or false. So Andre and Mike, why don't you get the ball rolling? Lily Allen allegedly has demanded this week that the song Rule Britannia should be banned. True or false?
Well, I think so. Lily Allen has banned me from her Twitter.
Oh, no. What happened there?
Oh, it was just, I was on the booze. She was presumably refreshed as well. Yes. And there was just an argument that I don't remember the following day. But occasionally, at this time on a Saturday night, she does have one or two lemonades, doesn't she?
I can see that.
And so she might have called for a banning of Rule Britannia.
I think this is just something that is getting added to a long list of things that are like modern crimes.
Yeah.
Singing a patriotic song, not getting to a flood quick enough.
Yeah.
They're like, these are the new crimes.
I mean, if you think about it, if we were to sing nowadays, Hitler has only got one ball, the other is in the Albert Hall, then they're going to say that that is rude to people who have a disability, aren't they?
I think we should get rid of the national anthem and replace it post-Brexit with the Dandy Warhols, we used to be friends. Because I think that sends out quite a nice message internationally.
No, the best one, if ever you're going to have a new national anthem, I don't know why, but Shakira, Waka Waka this time for Africa. And get the Queen in the belly dancing gear. That'd be absolutely super.
That's great. I would vote for that.
Okay, well, what do we think? True or false, boys?
That is exactly the sort of thing that Lily Allen would tweet about whilst drunk and falling out with Andre Walker.
True.
Well, it is exactly right. It is true. Lily says the song should be banned because of its problematic lyrics. It's apparently a little bit kind of military and jingoistic.
Well, she wouldn't know what the lyrics were because she can't read.
Dave and Ross, to celebrate Christmas, how about this? True or false? Lidl is selling an advent calendar full of cheese for $7.99 rather than chocolate. What do we think?
Oh, well, already we're off to a red herring, aren't we, with cheese? If you open up the fridge and you've got lots of cheeses in there, you don't know if it's gone off or whether it's actually fresh because it's cheese.
Ross, it's not going to be very nice next to the fire at Christmas for a full month. I mean, that's going to be...
I also think... Unless it's a Babybel and it's got the red, the skin, which also doubles up as great plasticine, by the way.
Very good,
If you wanted to buy someone a nice present this Christmas, if you buy the Babybel, you've got your cheese and then you've got your moulded clay.
Anyway, is anyone who's going to break it to Ross that it's pronounced Babybel rather than
I was going to let that slide.
I'm not talking about Babybel, I'm talking about Babybel.
What is Babybel?
Babybel, it's this cheese that you're getting in advent calendars.
I tell you what's interesting though, and I wonder what they're thinking about if it's a true story, is are they trying to readjust children's palates to get used to cheese to the point where their dream present, rather than, sort of a remote control car or something or a PlayStation, would be like a kilogram of red Leicester?
Yeah.
I think you can buy vegan advent calendars now, and just every door that you open up, it just says you'll never be fulfilled.
Yeah,
and
but you get
it's
to
just little mantras like that.
You get to the sort of 14th of December, you're like, oh, I just don't have the energy for this anymore. Do you know what I mean?
It's just another falafel.
Yeah. The only way I'm going to get out of bed this morning is if I eat 4 bean sprouts. That'll get me going.
No one ever finishes opening a vegan advent calendar.
Don't get me wrong, as I love cheese, but the thing is, I don't know about you, we always used to open an advent calendar in the morning.
Yes.
Do you want cheese? In the AM?
Do you know, I shouldn't say this, and hopefully he's not watching or listening, but my old flatmate, he slept with a girl and she described it as being like jumping on a whoopee cushion filled with cheese, which is not good, is it?
At Christmas.
Well, other things we're not going to use.
Andre by a special friend that can't be mentioned. So, boys, what do we think, true or false?
What do you think, Ross? I think true.
I think true, and I think it's brilliant. I think advent calendars need to be brought back because kids have forgotten now that build up to Christmas. You should be feeling sick with excitement, and the Advent calendar helps that because
Yes.
you're like, oh my God, I can't wait to open the big doors.
Yeah, you're quite right. Well, I'm telling you, you're on the money, guys. Fingers on the pulse. It is 100% true. The calendar contains 24 windows full of cheese, and it's a beautiful thing. So, okay, let's move on to our next story. Andre and Mike, is this true or false? Greggs have launched a new healthy eating scheme. It's always true. And now the idea is that Greggs have created a healthy eating scheme where they've added a hole to their famous jam donuts to remove 100 calories. A, is it true? And B, will it help?
We've talked previously about the fact that I boycotted Greggs because of their 4 for 3 offer, which was, forcing me to eat 4 sausage rolls at a time at about 5,000 calories each or something.
You only wanted 3.
It's got to be true.
Can I just say, you can't add a hole. You can only take away a hole.
Let me think about that for a second.
But they say they've added a hole to take off. You can only take away
actually,
a hole.
But that reminds me, it's like semi-skimmed milk, isn't it? I mean, basically, it's watered down.
Yeah.
Right. And it's kind of, look what we've done. We've watered down your milk. Give us a bit of extra money.
All I'm just going to say is Dave Chawner's university education was not a waste of taxpayers' money. Because I'd never really had such a philosophical reflection on donuts before. But what do we think? True or false, lads?
Definitely true.
I think that you don't go into Greggs for healthy eating. You go into Greggs for a pasty. So I reckon it's probably true, but it should be false.
Words of wisdom from Mikey Smith, and it is true. Well done, chaps.
Yeah.
Dave and Ross, John Lewis, are going to get the public to write, act in and star in next year's Christmas ad to save money because they are skint. True or false?
I love this idea. It's going to be John Lewisy McLewisy Facey, isn't it? It's going to be like Boaty McBoatface, but with John Lewis. What would you do, Ross, if you were writing the ads?
If I writing a Christmas song?
Yeah, keep it short.
I wrote a Christmas. Keep it short.
Yeah.
I wrote a Christmas song 3 days ago. Thank you, to the tune of Monster Mash.
Please could I ask you for right or wrong?
I want this to be right. What do you think, Ross?
Well, what is right? What is wrong? I don't know.
I think Ross is saying right.
Right.
Okay,
True.
and I can tell you that I'm afraid it is false.
Oh,
But good
that'll do you
effort.
good. It'll do it. It does you good to get it wrong sometimes.
Andre and Mike, Santa Claus has said, is this true or false, that he will only be able to deliver half of the usual number of presents next year if there's a no-deal Brexit because of border tariffs. Now, we are in election purdah, so I would obviously ask you for neutrality, but Brexit is sort of not really a party thing. Is Santa worried about Brexit?
No, this is not the reason. The reason is he's concerned about his carbon footprint, jetting around the world with those reindeers which emit methane gas.
Correct.
And other pollutants. I believe that Father Christmas is not delivering half the presents because he's concerned about climate change and the cost of running his sleigh.
Well, I'm intrigued. Mikey, what do you think? True or false?
Well, this is of concern to me because I've got a little girl.
Oh, yeah.
So at some point, I've got to broach the whole subject of, is it real or is it not,
What, Santa?
Climate change.
Ooh. Boom. Well, I will have to push you for an answer. What do we think, guys? Let's put our money on one.
I think we think it's false because the reason is Santa is having problems, but it's related to climate change, not Brexit.
Absolutely.
So it is false.
Okay, and it is false. Well done, boys.
Hey!
100% right. Dave and Ross, top actor Michael Sheen, has announced he's going to play Chris Tarrant in a drama for ITV. True or false?
I mean, that'd be a dry drama, wouldn't it? Just going around asking people, do you want to phone your friend? Do you want to phone your friend? Yeah. I don't have that many,
I don't think he's big enough to play. Chris Tarrant's massive. I met him once, and he's huge. He's like huge.
What, as in tall or as in
tall, big, wide. His voice is a lot lower and louder as well when you meet him. It's like you can feel your marrow bone shaking. Are you having a brandy? Are you having a brandy?
Well, to be fair, Ross,
yeah,
everybody is quite large compared to you.
I forget that, but you're not really that large. We're all tiny.
Noticed,
in the grand scheme of things, we're all very small.
I've noticed on this panel, we've gone from large to less.
Yeah, it's like Russian dolls, isn't it?
Yeah. It's 4 stages of human evolution. I
do this with my feet, with my toes. I try and get my toes all in a identical line so they're all the same height.
Here is one thing that fake news viewers and listeners do not know, that when we started this show, Chawner wants to stand up, so he didn't appear so little.
Feels like I feel so short, which is why it's lovely having you here, mate.
Should I be a little bit smaller?
We're like the Crankies here. Look at this.
That's actually perfect.
I think it's
Wonderful.
true. I like Chris Tarrant.
And I can tell you it is true. Well done, Ross Lee. Not only have you performed an amazing trick of being small, you got the right answer. Michael Sheen is going to play Chris Tarrant, CT, as he's known in the business, in a new drama about Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Andre and Mike, snowflake students at the University of Strathclyde, have banned secret Santa presents because it is too traumatic for those who get a rubbish present like Post-it notes or a chocolate bar. What do we reckon? Do we think that's true?
Do you know, I did a Secret Santa once and you had to spend a maximum of £5. So I got a gift card for somebody from, I forget whether it was Boots or one other such shop.
Yeah.
But the gift card itself cost £2.50. so I only loaded £2.50 onto it. And when it was opened, you know, there was genuine fury.
The smart thing to do, and I've done this once, is to convert the £5 into one of these currencies where you get like 8 billion Slovakian yen for £1.
Yes.
Very good.
Stick that on your gift card and they'll be like, whoa, there'll be tears and everything.
Oh no, I've got the best one. I've got a friend of mine who in his Secret Santa for £50, which admittedly is a large amount, he bought a house in Detroit and put it into the Secret Santa. There's these areas of Detroit where because things have gone so badly wrong economically, the houses are like 40 or 50 quid each. And so he bought a house in Detroit.
I'm moving.
But of course, the slight problem is, if you were to register as the owner, you have to pay all the back council tax for the past 10 years that is unpaid.
What do we think, guys? True or false?
Oh, that's got to be true, hasn't it?
No, I think this might be false because
Okay.
it's off the back of the old story, isn't it? I think.
Yes.
I think I'm going to say false.
But the only problem is when the phrase snowflake students have, normally it's true no matter how ridiculous what comes next. Let's go with false because that's what you think.
Thanks, mate. Let's go. Come on. Let's.
I tell you what, Mikey Smith is the jewel in the crown of your team. It is 100% false. Andre and Mike, this week it's been discovered that Facebook has a bug that's been accessing people's cameras. True or false?
Right. How would we tell the difference?
I know.
Because the things that people put up, it's like, look at my new wallpaper. Look, I've walked 20 miles this morning.
true.
How would we know
I've
if
just
the
had a
camera was
curly
just
whirly.
going off?
I went on holiday to Malaysia in probably about 1997 and I met an
Blimey.
eccentric Malaysian man. And by the way, in 1997, this was considered eccentric, who used to take photos of his dinner whilst on holiday. That is now an entirely normal
The new
thing
norm.
to
I think
do.
what really sort of keeps me awake at night about that one is just Andre Walker on holiday in the Far East. But
I have got one.
on his own.
I've got one guy.
Noodle noshing.
Just with a bag of Babby Bells for the locals.
I've got one guy on Facebook who I've never met called Barry. Hello, Barry. Right? I don't know why he's on my Facebook, but every time he pops up, it's like I've done 30 miles, I've done 50 miles. It's like having the Proclaimers on me Facebook, this fella.
Do you know
Hello, Barry. I know who you are.
Somebody messaged me on Facebook one day and started asking me about my work in journalism. And then I said, look, I don't know who you are. Why are you asking me this? And he said, it's fans like me that make you who you are. I said, I'm Andre Walker, not One Direction. What are you looking for? And then he deleted me on Facebook and then re-added me to call me a see you next Tuesday and then blocked me, which I thought was quite
Are you
nice.
sure it wasn't Lily Allen? In disguise.
This was me.
Okay, boys, true or false? You've been right so far, Mikey. You're on a winning streak.
False. Go with false.
I'll go with you, yeah. False.
It's true though, isn't it?
Always got to go with Mikey Smith because it's true. That's the rule of
course
today's
it
show. Dave and Ross, classic sitcoms like Only Fools and Horses and Fawlty Towers, have been slapped with offensive content warnings by a new streaming service, BritBox. True or false?
Do you find them offensive?
I find Nicholas Lyndhurst offensive. Just because his eyes are too close together. I think, I'm going to say no income tax, no VAT, no money back, no guarantee.
So, true or false?
True.
I think true.
It is true. Well done, lads.
Good
The
man.
Points are in the bag. Okay, Andre and Mike, a man in Detroit, Michigan. There you go.
Well, I've bought a house for $50. True.
Maybe. No, on this occasion, so the allegation goes, this guy tried to sell his wife on eBay because he'd had enough of how much money he'd spent on her and wanted his money back. True or false?
What I want to know is because when you go onto eBay and if you sell things on eBay, and I sell a lot of old DVDs, you've got to put whether it's like used, new, refurbished, which means it's old but you've spruced it up, given it a polish.
Yeah.
Which one did he go for? And is it an auction or you can do best price? You can do offers.
I mean,
I think
buy it now.
I don't want to be unkind about my other half, but I probably would go for a buy it now price. Just to shift it.
Shift it
Yeah.
quickly.
Is the house included was the critical question, because that'll add an extra $50 to the cost. Stick the lot in the Secret Santa, wrap it up and give it to Chawner for Christmas.
So what do we
I'd
think?
love that.
True or false, boys?
I think he put her in a nice new dress. He stuck it on as new refurbished, and yeah, I go with it. I
As
think it's
seen,
true.
batteries not included. I'm afraid to say I'd love it to be true, but it is false. Okay, and with that, time is up, and the scores are as follows. Team Free Broadband for All have 300 points, and Team Old Fashioned Dial Up have 301. Yes, indeed. I think Ross's physicality is giving you guys the edge. Time for a quick break when I'll try to do something about my hair. See you in 3. How are you? Welcome back to Fake News, the topical quiz show that removes even the toughest stains. I continue to be Mark Dolan, and still being Andre Walker, Mike Smith, Dave Chawner and Ross Lee are Andre Walker, Mike Smith, Dave Chawner and Ross Lee. That's quite clever, that, wasn't it? We're on Talk Radio. You can also watch us on Facebook and YouTube right now. I love this round. It's called Headline Deadline. Big stories from the news, and all the panel have to do is guess the missing word. Simple as that. They'll prove it's not simple. Fingers on buzzers. And let's start with this one. Who was voted sexiest man alive this week? Yes, David.
Mark Dolan.
Correct. Thank you so
There we
much.
go.
And that's the end of this week's Fake News. Maybe 10 years ago, love.
Ricky Tomlinson. It's the beard.
It is. He's a proper real man. Ross Lee.
Dale Winton.
He's not alive.
Who's going to break it to Ross Lee? Dear old Dale.
Is that why that other bloke's doing supermarket sweep? The weird waxwork guy.
Right.
It's like Keith Chegwin-gate, isn't it? Do you remember that?
I read his book.
We always have to kind of annex a bit of the show to explain to certain panellists who's alive and who isn't. We miss Dale Winton, we love him. It's not the right answer. Any other suggestions? Who's the sexiest man alive?
Jeremy Corbyn.
Jez Corbyn, Jez we can. You now have got to say Boris Johnson.
Boris
sexy
Johnson,
also.
all of them.
Or you got to say Joe Swinson is the sexiest man alive, because we are we're an
Very offensive in there.
election
anyways.
purdah. The answer is John Legend, voted by People magazine. Great artist and a handsome devil. Shock and surprise as who is to stand as a Lib Dem candidate in the general election? Andre.
Satan.
No, Satan apparently is too right wing. Michael.
Shock and surprise as misleading bar chart is to stand as Lib Dem candidate.
Misleading bar chart. Sly satire.
Thanks.
From the Smith.
It's actually one of the old Mr. Men. Like, you got Mr. Men and misleading bar chart. That's who it is.
Ross Lee, is it you?
It might be.
There is talk.
It might be you. Do you know what that reminds me of? My time working in one of those dungeons, tourist attractions. Where is Jack the Ripper? It might be you. It might be you.
It's not Jack the Ripper. It's not one of the crankies. I can tell you, it's the Stop Brexit guy.
No.
Here's another cracker for all of you. Fingers on buzzers. Tesco have pulled an advert after who complained? David.
Lily Allen.
Well, she does complain a lot. I think they're a bit tired now. They're like, yeah, Lily,
Lily.
whatever.
I used to have a
answer.
mate that used to work at the BBC complaints department, and someone rang up when like Ground Force or something was on, and they said, "Oh, I don't like this show," and they're like, "Okay, we'll log it." And then the same guy rang up 20 minutes later, just simply said, "It's still on." Like that. I thought that
Like
was
it's going to make a
brilliant.
difference. No, all good answers, but not the right one.
Kim Jong-un. He hates Tesco's. He prefers Ocado.
I'm going to reveal the answer, and it is Mel B.
What?
Spice Girl Mel B complained the company used a photo of the Spice Girl without permission and was shamed by the star on social media. We believe that they've got it all resolved now. Thank God for that. We can once again sleep soundly in our beds. This Christmas, Emma Thompson demands we should rent what? What should we rent, Michael?
Nanny McPhee from the video shop.
Not bad. Is that not one of the DVDs you've sold on eBay?
It is, yeah, new refurbished.
Not the right answer.
First class flights and then talk about climate change.
Fair comment. We should be renting what? Think about it. I'll give you a clue. It's a fixture of Christmas.
DVDs, because you know what? I'm sorry that Blockbuster has disappeared.
Yeah.
It was a great British
I do
tradition.
agree with you, yes.
The best place to buy overpriced popcorn.
They had lovely carpets as well, Blockbusters. Just
Why
with your
does
feet on
WH
the
Smith
carpet.
still exist?
I don't know! I used to love film where you had to wait a tantalising 24 hours for Uncle Buck to arrive.
That's wrong.
I'm going to give away the answer because you've all drawn blanks. This Christmas, Emma Thompson wants us to rent Christmas trees. The woke actress also said we should scrap tinsel and wrap presents in scarves. Tell us when the shuttle lands, Emma. According to a new report, the average person wakes up at what time?
There is no way anybody in the media industry on this panel is going to know what time normal people wake up in the morning. They were just wasting our time.
That's why I think the headline is actually just the reaction. It's like, the normal person wakes up at what time? That's actually what it is. So,
well, I'll tell you what time it should be. It should be 6:30 a.m. for the Julia Hartley Brewer breakfast show right here on Talk Radio. But I'm going to reveal the answer is, according to a new report, 7:55 a.m. There you go. John Lewis Christmas ad stars who? David.
Is it the World Health Organization?
WHO. You know what? That would be very instructive.
That'd be great,
As a
wouldn't it?
vegan, you'd be like,
I'd love it. I would absolutely love
basically
it.
a kind of nature documentary about the dolphins.
It'd be great.
all shot on Galapagos.
Yeah. I would actually quite like the John Lewis advert to actually feature the guy, John Lewis, who gets loads of tweets every year. Oh, sorry.
He lives in America, doesn't he?
Yeah,
And
probably
did you
Detroit
know,
in a 50-quid house.
every year, he gets sent a hamper by John Lewis. And they have like this lovely little relationship.
And did you know that John Lewis looks like Jeff Capes in real life?
And if you're under 50 and don't know who Jeff Capes is,
He collects budgerigars.
he's a good man. He used to be Archbishop of Canterbury. Dave Chawner, any ideas?
I was going to say Edgar, the dragon thing.
Wow, it's a very, very good answer, and it's the right one.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. The John Lewis Christmas ad stars excitable Edgar, and it's already a bit of a mini classic. Hillary Clinton says she's under enormous pressure to what? Andre?
Running the 2050 presidential election via Ouija board, because she will never give up.
I don't think she'll ever die.
Ever.
I wouldn't be surprised if I found out Hillary Clinton eats raw liver from the Fringe.
Yes.
Because she has got that vibe, don't you think?
Yeah.
I think every night she just peels her face off and there's like an android under there.
Yeah, there's something going on.
I wouldn't be surprised if she's under enormous pressure to take part in Celebrity Bake Off 2020. I can see that sort of thing happening. I genuinely can.
Yes. And what would she cook? Would she cook humble pie?
Oh! She's a gun stolen.
She's under enormous pressure to pretend to like her husband. But she just can't.
Well, I know she would be an Oscar-winning actress if that was the case. I can tell you she feels under enormous pressure to run for president in 2020. Time's up, and with that litany of libelous confection, here are the final scores. Team Free Broadband for All slipped back to 103 points. I'm afraid so. And Team Old-Fashioned Dial-Up have 507 points and some free Waitrose vouchers.
Great.
Yes, indeed. So you can go and drink middle-class coffee. Before we go, let's have a quick round of Dolan's debate. It's time for Dolan's debate. I will pick a topic, and on this occasion, Ross Lee and Dave Chawner will argue both sides. So if you're ready, here's this week's question. If, gentlemen, you were Prime Minister, what would be on your manifesto? Dave Chawner, first bite of the cherry. Go, go, go.
Right, firstly, to get the people in the metropolis, what I would do is I'd make all city centres an umbrella-free zone. Wow. Right? And finally, to win the vote at large, everybody can drive in a bus lane on their birthday.
With the clock against us, I'm going to ask Ross Lee for your flagship manifesto policy that you're going to hang everything else on.
Yeah, okay. Let's make Emmerdale I'll put Emmerdale on 4 times a day. Right?
Wow.
And bring back Tina Dingle.
And do you know something? I mean, I love these competitions because actually, Dave, you were streets ahead. And this guy comes in with Emmerdale 4 times a day, and it's like...
And Tina Dingle.
Even Dave Chawner can accept... You know when you're beat.
Yeah, big time.
This week's winner is Ross Lee. You can't argue with that. So thanks for watching, and also thanks for listening on Talk Radio. We'll be back next Saturday at 10 with more fake news. Goodbye.